Hello and welcome to MyFusion Helper. This is a short video showing you how to use the Notify Me helper. And this is a great little helper that is widely used. I use it all the time for debugging and sending free little text and notes to myself back and forth when I'm going through campaigns and working through the bugs. So what I'm going to show you is a live demo of how it works and how to set it up in the application. And then we'll also go into some more strategic uses of it as well. So let's dive right in. All right, so inside of the helper, the first thing we're going to do is type in the name of it so that we can get it. And we just type in no, and there we go, Notify Me. And we can create some name of the helper itself. So Notify Troy, there we go, via SMS for testing. Okay, and then we come down here and there's some different options that we can choose. Now, I use this mostly for free SMS sending, but you can also use it for emails or you can use it for both. Now, I want to be very, very clear here. This is meant for internal SMS, right? It's not going to be useful for clients that are opting into a webinar, etc. For that, we have another Helpit that allows you to send SMSs to anybody to their mobile phone. The Notify Me sends out free SMS, and the way that it's free is that you do need to know the provider. So for example, if you're going to send it, to me, for example, you would need my cell phone, which we'll just pretend is that, and don't need a million text messages coming to me here. And then we'll put our provider, choose AT&T or whatever your provider is, and that is necessary. So I want to be really clear on this. This is most useful for internal messaging or messaging to your sales staff, for example, where your sales staff has an assigned contact and customers and they want to get notifications. That can be very, very useful for that as well. I use this a lot for debugging and testing, or if I'm waiting on an order or waiting on something for a particular client, or just rolled out a new campaign and I want to monitor it for a while, I'll put in a notification so that I can see what's going on, okay? And that's how I use it, but you can use it however you like. Just remember, it does require you to select, and you can see, it's got tons of different mobile providers here. The big ones, of course, but it's also got a ton of local ones as well, so hopefully that works for you. Then you can create the message itself, and the message could be an order was processed for, and then you can merge in your merge fields. So it'll merge in that logic, and it automatically puts a space in there, and their email is okay, and we can kind of put this information, but you can construct this message however you want with all of these fields. And again, it does merge in custom fields as well. So you can get quite creative here and quite powerful in these messages to make them very useful, and set up little notifiers for different events that you may want to trigger and or monitor. Now that's how you would do it for an SMS. If you wanted to do it for email, then you can add a comma-separated list of emails that you'd like to email to, okay, and then set a subject, and you can use merge fields again here the same way, and merge. And then one last little feature I wanted to talk to you about is the fact that we can also add last order details to the email. So this was a client request that they wanted to kind of customize their own little email invoices, and they wanted to be able to do kind of an invoice style summary of the contact's last order details, including the items and payments and addresses, etc. And so that is an option that you can use here as well, okay? And then lastly, if you want to do both an SMS and an email, you can go that route as well. That's a little too much info for me, so I'll just do something here, and we'll just put something in there and go ahead and create the helper. And this is a normal process. Once a helper is created, it's going to give you a link to copy and paste into Infusionsoft. So that's the same process that we always do. We copy this link, and then we'll come into Infusionsoft, and we have some sequence here. We'll go in and drag in a HTTP post, rename it. And then we can go ahead and paste in that URL and mark it as ready to go. And that is all it takes to integrate it with Infusionsoft. Note that you don't have to configure any of these optional name value pairs. So just leave it as it defaults with the contact ID and you're all set. Okay, so we talked about how to do it and I showed you. So now let's go back and just kind of talk about some of the examples of use cases for it. A free SMS for internal staff notifications is probably the number one reason for using this, right? It allows you to do all kinds of internal messaging without having to pay anything for it. And hey, free is good. We all like free, right? I like free. So we do have a paid SMS and text messaging helper as well. So for the scenarios where you don't know their provider and you can't do it in this free approach, then no problem. Use the other system that we have. However, this gives you the ability to do it for free, and for internal stuff, that's a perfect way to do it. The staff and sales people will use this all the time. We have companies that have clients out in the field and they want to be able to notify the sales force in the field of things as they're happening real time. In fact, they integrate it with our MyFusion Notes. And so when a help desk ticket comes in, a client calls in and needs something, and it goes through the MyFusion Notes, the help desk ticket creates it, and then it is assigned an urgent priority. And based upon the fact that it's an urgent priority, that automatically creates an automation in Infusionsoft, which then sends out a text message to the sales rep. And because we can look at the owner field of that particular contact, we know who the sales rep is, and because they're internal staff, all of the salespeople, we know what their phone provider and their phone numbers are, so we can just set up these notifications to go to them that way. So there's very useful ways of using this, even though it is free texting, that are very applicable for internal sales and staffing organizations. Another thing that you can do is, as you've seen, sending out some customized payment notifications via email. You saw the examples there of how to select that option and get like a mini invoice with payment details and stuff as well. Very useful in that scenario. So those are just a couple of examples of how you can use this helper in your campaigns and in your business. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.